What's up, guys? Welcome back to our college football report card series. Today, we're talking about the Florida Gators. Definitely disappointing season, a coaching change. Offense and defense were looking suspect in their own respective ways. We're going to get into all of it. Drew, I'm going to kick it to you first. I know you got a lot to say about the Florida Gators. You're not their biggest fan at all. It's safe to say. So go ahead and give us your thoughts on the Florida Gators season.
I mean, anyone that's paid attention to college football this season knows what kind of season Florida had. It was just an absolutely abysmal showing from Dan Mullen, its players, and its fans, honestly. And this isn't anything personal against Florida Gator fans, but when you try to sympathize for a team, sometimes you feel bad for teams having bad seasons. It's really hard to show sympathy for the Florida Gators. I'll go ahead and talk about their schedule here in a little bit. But the reason I say that is after that Alabama game, your third game of the season, you go on Twitter, you go on Facebook, you're looking at Florida Gator fans posting and bragging about having a close loss to Alabama. And I talked about this in a Florida video I did a few weeks ago, which got a lot of dislikes, and I understand that I knew that was coming. But for some reason, what is it with y'all like bragging about close losses to Alabama? Y'all did it last year or the season before in the SEC title game, and then this season rolled around, you had a 2-point home loss, and then you're bragging about it again. As a Georgia fan, we lose to Alabama close almost every single year. I should be bragging every single time that we do that, but I never do. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just run through the schedule real quick. We'll talk about the offense, we'll talk about the defense, and then we'll give our final grades. So we'll go and start off. You'll have wins against Florida, Atlantic, and South Florida, no big deal. And then you had that third game against Alabama. Now, Florida did play pretty well in that game, I will admit, but y'all lost. I don't understand the whole point of bragging about a close loss. I mean, yes, y'all almost came back down 21-3. But I don't know. I'm done talking about all that. Continuing on, Tennessee, 138-14. Honestly, your best win of the season by far. And then you went and lost to Kentucky. And by this point, I think that's really when the ship started to sink for Florida. Kentucky, it was some crazy number. Like, before Dan Mullen got there, Florida's won, 31 or, the last 32. I don't really know the exact number or record. It was some abysmal number. And then Dan Mullen gets there, and y'all lose to Kentucky twice in his 4-year period there. So, terrible loss right there, and by that point, your season was over. Blew out Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's one of the worst teams in the Power 5. And then the LSU game. It was a great game. Florida's offense played very well, but you still gave up 49 points, and that was a terrible loss. And that's when, just looking at the schedule, you can just tell the players quit on Dan Mullen after that. There was no recovering. You lose Georgia 34-7. Honestly, that was one of Florida's better defensive games. I know they gave up 34 points, but when you go and watch that game, Anthony Richardson played this game. He had 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes of the first half, and Georgia capitalized. They got the ball back in the red zone almost every turnover and then converted it into a touchdown. Other than that, Florida, their defense played well. South Carolina, you lost 40-17. That's just, there's no excuse for that. To be Florida, to come from a season where you just won the SEC East and almost beat Alabama, a really stacked Alabama team, to coming into this year and getting blown out by South Carolina. By that point, everyone pretty much wanted Dan Mullen gone, and then it didn't even get much better. The next week, you played against Samford. How the hell you give up 52 points to Samford? That's just, your team's not even trying at that point. They weren't even trying. The players have already quit. You lost to Missouri in overtime, and then you barely beat Florida State. You finished off with a loss to Central Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl, and it wasn't even a competitive game. 29-17. I'll go ahead and just say this now. The only thing that's keeping me from giving you an F in this report card is the fact you made a bowl game. Because to be honest, I thought after that Missouri game y'all lost, I thought y'all were going to lose to Florida State, not even make a bowl game. Y'all were going to go 5-7. But congrats on not being the worst team in Florida. You did beat Florida Atlantic and South Florida and Florida State, so that makes you third? I'll put you behind Miami and Central Florida. Anyways, that's enough of me talking about the season. Aiden, I'll go ahead and throw it back to you. You can give us a little bit of your opinion about Florida's offense, and I'll say my things, and we'll go to the defense.
Yeah, offensively, they were third in the SEC in yards per play. So, on paper, it looks like they were moving the ball well. But the issue is the turnovers. 18 interceptions, most in the SEC. Emery Jones had 13 of those. On the ground, 490 runs over the season, only 415 passes. So Florida was a run-dominant team. 40% of the runs coming from the quarterback. But my thing with Florida is just because the guy's been there and stuck it out doesn't mean he should keep the job. or he should get the job. I mean, maybe he gets like the first shot at it, but you can't be trying to make this thing with Emery Jones work when his production on the field just isn't showing consistently throughout games. Also, they need to find a coach, and that correlates to the lack of culture. Like you pointed to, they're playing Alabama close. They beat Tennessee. This is at the beginning of the season when hopes are still high. But once they start losing a couple of games, and like you pointed, that LSU loss, it was basically downhill from there. They don't have the culture to fight back and win these games. I mean, like you said, 52 points to Sanford, that's just embarrassing. That should not happen to any SEC school. They should have, shut them out and been playing pissed off and trying to finish out the season without a loss. And then in the bowl game, they shit the bed too. It's just inconsistent play. Just proves to me that in the locker room they lack leaders and just the desire to win. They definitely have a lot of issues, like you were saying. So you can talk about the defense if you want.
Well, I'm going to go ahead, and I need to add a little bit to the offense as well. The whole Florida fan base, when Emery Jones first arrived on campus, was swearing this guy was going to be the next Heisman winning quarterback for the Florida Gators, and I try to tell everybody this since day one. Emery Jones is average at best. He's average at best. Yes, he's a dual threat quarterback. He's got a lot of athleticism. He has a good arm, but he's just a turnover machine. We saw it from the time he started playing at Florida, and he didn't progress at all to the end of his career there. And I mean, 13 interceptions by him, 5 interceptions by Anthony Richardson. The Florida offense wasn't terrible. Y'all just can't turn the ball over that much. And y'all were able to run the ball a little bit better. Again, like Aiden said, a lot of the runs came from the quarterback. But Dameon Pierce, y'all's main running back, he actually had a pretty good season. He was averaging 5.7 yards per carry, which isn't bad at all, and having 13 touchdowns. They got to get a quarterback that is not going to turn the ball over as much as you can't throw 18 interceptions in a season and expect to walk out of the season without any losses. That's just not going to happen. Anyways, going to the defense, I don't really know what all there really is to say about the defense, to be honest. I mean, like I said, the only good positive game that I think they really played, I mean, Kentucky, they played pretty well defensively. And then Georgia, I think they played pretty well defensively as well. Other than that, though, after the Vanderbilt game, or after the LSU game, when they gave up 49 points to a below-average LSU team, and then you look the rest of the season from there, that defense just completely quit. They completely quit. I'm not even going to waste my breath on them. I mean, they're a bunch of quitters. I get it's hard to keep playing for someone that, you don't want to play for. Dan Mullen, he lost that locker room and all the drama surrounding the Florida Gators. It's hard to put in your all every single week. But when you're playing Division I SEC football, there's no excuse for quitting. There is none. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to play for a coach and give it your all, but at the end of the day, you're playing at the University of Florida. There are thousands of other players that would like to trade places with you. You got to give it your all. So I'm not even going to bother talking about the defense as much. So we'll go ahead and just go to the grades. Aiden, I'll go ahead and let you. I've been talking so much. You can go ahead and start off with your grade.
Yeah, offensively, like you pointed to, just unproductive turnovers, and then defensively, they got the names, but they just can't get the job done, and they're giving up points and quitting, like you pointed to. So I'm going to go with the C-. I mean, I can't give them a D or F because they did go to a bowl game, even though they lost it. They didn't have a great season at all, but taking everything into account, I'm going to give them a C-.
Like I said earlier, the only thing stopping me from giving you an F is the fact y'all even made a bowl game in the first place. I mean, considering all the drama that happened, players quitting like halfway through the season, I went ahead and just went with a D-. I know Florida fans are probably not going to be happy with everything I said, but these are just the cold hard facts. And I know for a fact, Florida fans, this is a season that y'all are going to want to erase from your minds forever. Trust me, I know what it's like to have my team have a 6-win season, go 6-7. Georgia's had its share of 6-win, 7-win seasons, and I know how bad it is and how quickly you want to get it off your mind. But the whole sympathy thing, it's really hard for me, even as a Georgia fan. It's almost like hard for me to not show sympathy for Florida fans because I know how rough it was for them. But that whole close loss to Alabama and bragging about it just really blew my mind. It really blew my mind. Anyways, I'm leaving it at D-. Now, will Florida get better going on? I mean, they got rid of Dan Mullen. Todd Grantham's gone. You have Billy Napier. Billy Napier, I honestly think, is going to be a pretty good coach for y'all. I don't really know who's going to be your starting quarterback. I haven't really been paying attention to whether – I know Emery Jones said he's transferred now. I don't know if he's going to come back. But you will have Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson does have the potential to be pretty solid. But it's going to take some time. Florida fans. It's not going to be a one-season thing. Got to let Billy Napier get his classes in, and you can't, after one or two bad seasons, you can't go ahead and hop on the train and start chanting the Fire Billy Napier chants all across the state of Florida. Because y'all gotta roll with the coach and just let him do his thing. Dan Mullen, I get it. He was not a good coach. It was pretty obvious the dude didn't care about recruiting, and he's just not meant to be a college coach. Anyways, y'all, that's pretty much it for this video. I covered everything I needed to say. We apologize for the lack of uploads here the past week or so. Me and Aiden have both been kind of busy, but we do have a couple videos that we'll be uploading throughout the week. I don't know what day this is going to be uploaded. It's the 7th now. So this video will probably be either up on the 8th or the 9th, and then we have another video, an NBA video coming up as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It would really be appreciated. And again, we'll definitely be throwing out some more uploads here in the upcoming weeks. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Catch you in the next one.